Hello everyone, my name is Ivo and welcome to Cooking with the Coias. You know, sometimes you just want a nice fresh bread that's ready in a few hours, but not just any bread. How about a rustic style, artisan style, flavorful Italian olive bread? Easy to make and ready in a few hours. That's right, that's what we're going to do today. These folks, I like to call them the Italian olive bread Bastone. Bastone in Italian means stick. So they're like Italian breadsticks, but they're bigger than your typical breadstick. They're like a small baguette. They're easy to make. They're amazing. Let's get started right now. So we're going to start by adding 300 grams, which is about 10.5 ounces of flour. Now, bread flour is great. I'm using an unbleached white organic flour, but any bread flour or even a high protein all-purpose flour is perfectly fine. Okay, to that, we're going to add 4 grams of instant yeast, which is about 1 teaspoon. We're going to add 4 grams of diastatic malt powder. Now, this is the ingredient I get most questions on. This is optional. It's not a chemical. It is all natural. And it's basically, it's malt, and it's a superfood for yeast. It's made from barley, helps with coloring, helps with flavoring. It's fantastic. It's optional, but highly recommended. I always share with you the best way to make things. 1 teaspoon of just regular table salt, which is 6 grams. So 6 grams of salt. And again, we're just going to mix that all in. And in keeping with the simple theme, we're going to do everything in this bowl all at once. So our highlight olives. So I've chopped up some olives. I just used sliced olives that I put on my pizza, but you could use any olives, any kind of olives. If you have olives with pits, just take the pits off, and I just roughly chopped them. Okay, so I have there 75 grams, which is about 2.5 ounces of chopped up, and I'm using green olives today. Alrighty, water. So 230 grams of water, and this is warm water. And you want it warm because this recipe is the same day, so it gives the yeast a chance to work faster. So warm water, I mean 80 to 90 degrees. Okay, then our other secret ingredient, this here, folks, is 1.5 teaspoons of apple cider vinegar, which is about 6 grams. We're going to add that right to our water. I'm using an organic apple cider vinegar, but any apple cider vinegar will do. Next, another key ingredient, 1 tablespoon of extra virgin olive oil. And this one I just brought back from my trip to Portugal. It is a beautiful extra virgin olive oil, and in it goes. Okay, that now completes our mixture for our beautiful olive bread Bastone. So with a spatula or a wooden spoon, just mix everything, get everything incorporated. And then we're going to get in there with our hands and just squeeze it all together to make sure there's no clumps of flour. You're going to feel clumps of olive, of course, but no clumps of flour. So get everything just kind of incorporated. Easy peasy, all ingredients in one bowl. And now we're going to go in with our hands. And all I'm going to do here, folks, is just make sure I picked up all the flour. All right? And then just squeeze the dough. Squeeze it in your hand, okay, to get out any clumps of flour, and just make sure everything is nice and smooth and incorporated. So I'm going to do this for about 30 seconds. And yes, it is going to be very, very sticky because it's a high hydration. As I mentioned, we used 230 grams of warm water, which, by the way, was 8.1 ounces. And now that that's done, we just scrape down the bowl. There we go. That's it. Now we are going to we're going to cover it and let it rest for 15 minutes. It's been 15 minutes. Our dough's been resting nicely. Time to do a series of folds. I'm just going to wet my hand just a little bit. So I have a damp hand here, and then by the folds, all I mean is grab the dough, lift and fold it over. Turn it, grab it, lift it, fold it over. As you do this, it's going to start to develop strength and be less runny, less like a batter and more like a dough. So just lift and fold. And you can see here already, it's starting to firm up. Whereas before it was more like a batter. So lift and fold, lift and fold. Do this about at least 10 times. I like to do about 20 times preferred. So about 20 times, and you could do a little more if you want to, but 20 is plenty. And I have lost count, but basically again, you're just lifting it and folding it over. Very simple, lift and fold. All right, so I believe I've done enough. And yeah, it's going to stick to you a little bit, but it's not as bad as it was originally. And then again, scrape the bowl. And we're going to cover it and let it rest for another 15 minutes. Here we are 15 minutes later, and you guessed it, time to do another series of folds. And our dough's been resting nicely. I mentioned putting a little bit of water on your hands just to help prevent sticking. You could also put a little olive oil on your hands if you want. So I thought I'd use olive oil this time just to show you the difference. And again, we're going to lift and fold. Very simple, lift and fold. And you can see the dough is firming up very nicely. Our beautiful olive dough. There we go. Right? You can see there. Just lift and fold. So again, I'm going to do about 20 again. Okay, we're just getting that gluten network working, and that's why this dough is firming up like it is. All right, and of course I lost count, but we're going to leave it at that. All right, and again, scrape down the edges. And there we go. Now it's time for another rest. This time it's a 2-hour rest. And after 2 hours, that's when we're going to prep it for the oven. So here we are, some 2 hours later, and let's take a look. Oh, our dough, look at this. It has risen very nicely. It's about doubled in size. Absolutely beautiful. Okay, so my oven has been preheating to 450 degrees. I've got a nice sheet pan here. This is 13 inch by 18 inch or 33 by 46 centimeters. And we're going to place a piece of parchment paper there. And then with some olive oil, we're going to drizzle some olive oil onto our parchment and brush that all around. Okay. There we have it. That's pretty good. All right. We're going to put that aside now. Actually, we're going to put it right here. We're going to keep it close, folks. Keep it close. All right. Here I have some semolina flour that I'm going to put on the counter. Maybe a bit more. Okay, and now let's take our beautiful dough. You can see the olives in there very, very nicely. And let's take it out of our bowl, and we're going to put it right onto that semolina flour. There we go. Perfect. With a little bit of olive oil, we are going to just pat this down ever so slightly and just thin it up a bit because it's a bit thick, right? So maybe a little more olive oil. You want it about about an inch thick, inch and a half thick. Okay, that looks pretty good right there. So now, quite simply, we're going to go about 2 inches, which is about 5 centimeters, and we'll just make a cut. And then you can actually stretch it out a bit and place it on the parchment. Same thing here, about 2 inches, 5 centimeters. Cut the dough. Again, you're going to take it and just stretch it a bit, right? And place it on the parchment. Beautiful. This is going to be so good, folks. Okay. Same thing. Stretch it out a bit. Keep my parchment intact. And this looks like I'll cut it right in half. We'll get 2 pieces out of here. So the yield here, and again, it depends on the thickness, how thick you cut them, but if you do it like this, the 5 centimeter, 2 inch, you're going to get about 5 Bastoni. Okay, that is very, very nice. Now, continuing with the olive oil theme, we want that nice olive oil right on top. That's what we want. So each one gets brushed with olive oil. Okay, brush that on. That's perfect. Okay, so like I say, the oven has been preheated to 450 degrees Fahrenheit, and it's time to go into the oven. Alrighty, in the oven we go. I'm going to put it on the middle rack. And now let's set our timer for 25 minutes. So I'm setting mine for 25 minutes, but in your case, it could be anywhere from 20 to 25. It depends on your oven, and it also depends on the level of darkness that you like. I like mine a little bit on the darker side, so I let it go right up to 25 minutes. But when in your oven, take a look along the way, see what you like, and that'll work for you. Right now, we're going to come right back in about 25 minutes. Can't wait to show you these olive bread bastones. There goes our timer. Time to shut the oven down. And let's take a look. Oh, just the perfect golden color that I was looking for, folks. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. That's what I'm talking about right there. That's the color. That's the color I'm talking about. Some of you may like them lighter in color, I understand, but I personally, I like that dark. I like a little bit of extra crunch on the crust. Oh yeah, those are just, whoops. Those are just a beautiful thing. Let's see if it's too hot to pick up. Look at the bottom. Nice golden brown. Beautiful. I'm going to put it on a cooling rack. Look at that. That's what I like personally. I know Laura prefers a little bit lighter. Probably 20 minutes would have been good for her. But for me, 25 minutes in my oven is ideal. Okay, now, we got to just be patient and let these cool just a little bit. And then you know it, I'm digging in for the taste test. Okay, it is time to dig in. And this one, I think, I'll take the one in the middle. Look at that golden color. I get excited over stuff like this, folks. It's okay. Let's cut it right up the middle. Oh, look at this. Take a look at that. Let's see if we can get a little close up. There we go. I know the lighting's not the best, but nice air pockets in there. Okay, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. And now, what I'd like to do is show you what it looks like inside. So I'm just going to take my time here and cut it open. It's still a little warm. I should have waited a little longer, but look at that. Oh yeah, okay. I am digging in. Yes, I know. Put a little bit of butter on there or put some olive oil on there. But for this taste test, I'm going in just the way it is. So let's just break off this little end piece here. Nice little end piece. Wow. The crust, phenomenal. The crumb, so flavorful. You absolutely need to make this bread. Once you make it, I'm telling you, you will make it all the time. It is that good and it's that easy. Minimal effort. Within 3 hours, you're done. You get up in the morning or in the afternoon and you say, I want some fresh bread for tonight. 3 hours later, bingo, you've got it. And if you live alone, you've got 5 here, put 4 in the freezer, take 1 out every day. Doesn't get much better than that. Italian style olive bread Bastone. I really do hope you give it a try. It is absolutely fantastic. Wherever you're tuning in from, folks, as always, I want to say thank you for spending time in the kitchen with me. And you know, it makes me happiest when you make the recipes and enjoy them. That's what it's all about. Until next time, thanks for tuning in. Buon appetito. And salute. I need my wine glass. Delicious. I think I'll put some olive oil on this one and butter on this one. Now you're talking.